Chris Spiker here.
I'm Eric Goldstein. We are here with Bret Banks from the Antelope Valley Board of Trade.
Hey, welcome, Bret.
Thanks, Chris. It's good to be here.
You have an event coming up.
Yes, sir. The big event for the Board of Trade every year, February 22nd.
It's always a Friday, right?
Always a Friday.
And how many years has the Board of Trade been doing this?
I think we're up at the 47th, I believe. So quite some time.
What is the Antelope Valley Board of Trade?
You probably know as well as I, because you've been a member for quite some time. But the Board of Trade started 47, 48 years ago as the Antelope Valley Progress Association, to really go out and try to market the Antelope Valley and to do legislative advocacy for the valley. So they've done a lot of good things over those years.
It's a group of businesses and governments and groups.
Sure, it's a wide range of businesses, government, counties involved, all kinds of organizations.
It's kind of the movers and the shakers, and one guy that has a flower shop. But other than that, I found that it's a great way to meet people, regional people, and a lot of people come to this watering hole that is the Board of Trade.
I think so, and I think because of the idea behind legislative advocacy, it can kind of get behind bigger projects, right? I mean, the Antelope Valley Freeway was a Board of Trade project, as you know. The FAA Air Traffic Controller facility was a Board of Trade. The employer that I work for, the Antelope Valley Air Quality Management District, was a Board of Trade idea. So all those kind of larger ideas that would help the valley in the long run.
The Board of Trade, being non-governmental, can reach across city lines and county lines.
Absolutely. And again, the focus would be legislative advocacy. What kind of things does the valley need that the Board of Trade can assist with in legislation or grants, funding, things like that?
Can anybody join the Board of Trade?
Sure. Yeah.
Individuals, businesses?
Absolutely. And everybody's welcome.
Is it like it's like a well-kept secret?
It seems that way at times, doesn't it? I mean, you've been a member for a long time, and I think the niche is hard to define at times because you have local chambers that support local smaller businesses, and the Board of Trade incorporates not just those small businesses and individuals, but the larger corporations, Lockheed, Northrop, those folks are all involved also.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, we've got cities with their own promotional abilities, but we're out here at the far end of LA County.
And I think that's one of the reasons that the Board of Trade is critical to the valley, that the more information we can get out there about the valley, the more support we can get out there. It's needed, again, because we're on the far end of Los Angeles County and usually get kind of the leftovers, if you think about that.
But then that's kind of nice to get the leftovers.
At times it is.
To be left alone, to be ignored, and
at times it is. At other times it's not.
And we need the Board of Trade.
Yeah.
Gather all the forces together, and that's kind of what the Business Outlook Conference is. It's a report. It cheers us up, and we kind of collect some thoughts and move forward.
Yeah, this year, as the chairman of the events committee, I changed it up just a little bit because the day kept running slightly longer in past years, and we got done late in the afternoon. And I thought we really ought to compress it this year, try to get the information out there that people need, and then halfway through the day, we're done, they can get off back to their business. Because you've attended these in the past, and a lot of times a full day away is difficult when you run your own business or are involved in your day-to-day business. So we're going to start 8 o'clock in the morning, and we'll be out of there by 12:30, quarter to 1.
It's hard to please everybody in the audience.
Absolutely, because we have audiences up to 500 people, so we try to hit as wide a range as we can.
The critique has been, well, we covered this, but we didn't cover this. And we covered this, but we didn't. So this year we covered this, but we didn't cover this. But that's why you have to have 23 speakers.
Right. This year we're going to compress that too.
Right.
We're going to be down to 5 or 6. And always the popular topics we're going to have this year. The general from Edwards Air Force Base will be back, right? Always a popular topic. There's great things happening out at Edwards, so that's something that we really like to hit. We're going to talk about water, because that's a big thing in the development of the Antelope Valley now, right? There'll be conversation about renewable energy because of the solar and wind that we see throughout the Antelope Valley. And then we always have an economist that can talk about Los Angeles County, Southern California, and specifically the Antelope Valley and the economy and what he foresees in the future.
Any comic relief, or was that it?
I'm sorry, there is no comic relief. We're going to hit this hard and fast in the morning and be done.
And is there a second event? Are we doing something up at the spaceport?
So some of our members came back and made the organization aware that the 50th landing and walking on the moon anniversary will be this summer. And a lot of that work, as you know, was done out at Edwards Air Force Base. So the Board of Trade is planning on having an event out at the Mojave Air and Space Port Center to kind of recognize that event. So it'll be a second conference, which is rare for us, but focused around aerospace and that kind of activity.
The Board of Trade has done a lot for other groups. When you mentioned some of the projects, I just remember a lot of NASA programs that would come to the Board of Trade when we were realizing how important it was to have a NASA facility at Edwards, but also to change the name to Neil Armstrong. And we've also done a lot with the Mojave Group, so.
Sure. One of the NASA, I think, projects that is still active is the SOFIA project, the flying telescope that the Board of Trade was very active in trying to keep that project alive and operating in the Antelope Valley.
And Bob Johnstone with STEM.
Sure, and Bob did yeoman's work on trying to establish a 4-year university, which now has gotten us the engineering training from Cal State Long Beach over at the old fairgrounds and things like that directly related to the work that Bob did.
I think of Bob, I think of the university. I was at a meeting where there might have been 7 different groups from the different population centers in the valley here that all wanted that university
Right.
in their boundaries. And
Everybody wanted.
I see how this
site,
works.
right?
It doesn't work.
Right.
Everybody wants it. It needs to be
Right.
close to me. I wish it could be close to us, right?
Absolutely. But because of his work, we have the Long Beach State Engineering Program that continues to grow every year. So.
Which is exactly, that way we didn't have to build a whole campus.
Right.
We just got somebody to realize we need help up here building things.
And most of those graduates stay here locally and go to work for the companies in the valley.
Which was the plan, right?
Yes, sir.
So it's California, and we're building things. That's amazing.
It's a surprise, right? But all you have to do is drive by Plant 42 and there's new buildings going up. Head out to the Mojave area, same thing. BYD has probably tripled in size in the last 2-3 years. So there's a lot going on.
It's amazing. In California.
In California, in the Antelope Valley.
And we have a lot of people to thank for that, but the Board of Trade has definitely been involved.
Well, we just like to see people come out to the annual Business Outlook Conference because there's going to be a lot of information out there in a compressed, short period of time, so they don't have to take their whole day out from their business and to hear that information.
You know, you don't have to be a member of the club, you don't have to be a member of the Board of Trade, you don't have to be an employer or a boss. You might just be a member of the public, or maybe retired, maybe a student. How do they get tickets?
Well, there's a handful of ways, but members of the Board of Trade, the ticket for that day is $75. Non-members, it's $90. They can get on the Board of Trade website, which is www.avbot.org, or call the Board of Trade at 661-947-9033.
I remember in Edwards General, when he saw AVBOT, he thought that was an acronym for some missile program or
Exactly.
something. That was pretty funny.
And a lot of people think it's associated with robots and different things, but no, it's just the abbreviation of the organization.
So when you say it's a power breakfast, what does that mean?
Well, in years past, we've always had a lunch and then speakers after lunch. This year, we're going to have a full breakfast, not just a continental breakfast, and the idea is to have networking before the event starts. So we're calling it the Ultimate Power Breakfast, where you can meet the business people of the Antelope Valley prior to the start of the conference.
Well, that's always been the value for me. I mean, the takeaway from the individual speakers, but just going a little bit early and working the room, having a name tag, a stack of business cards. I know I'm not going to make any sales, but I'm going to meet some amazing people.
Well, and there's going to be a full room. We expect anywhere between 400 and 500 people, so it will be the event that you need to attend.
We're going to have any of our Congress members there?
What we've had in the past is Congressman McCarthy, and unfortunately he's unavailable to make it this year. He'll send a video that will provide updates on his office and the work that he's doing. But we also will have the newly elected Katie Hill, who's our representative, attend and speak.
Well, that's good. That is very good.
And then our local state legislators, Assemblyman Lackey and Senator Wilk will also be in attendance.
Antelope Valley Board of Trade Business Outlook Conference, Friday, February 22nd, at the fairgrounds.
At the fairgrounds, 8 o'clock to 12:30.
8 o'clock.
Come early at 7 for the Ultimate Power Breakfast.
So there's a whole hour of, sometimes it's hard to get them out of the lobby or in where the food is and to sit in their seats and let's start the program.
We're going to give them that hour to network and have breakfast and get ready to hear good information.
That is an amazing, amazing event. That is probably right behind, I mentioned the animal auction. This is one of the top 5 events in the Antelope Valley.
I think it is, and I think there's a lot of reasons for people to attend, so we look forward to seeing them out there.
Whew. I'm excited about it. Talking with Bret Banks, we're representing the Antelope Valley Board of Trade Business Outlook Conference. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, Chris.
You bet.